Hello everybody, this is Melody again from Eden Wellness, and this week we are talking about ginger essential oil on our essential oil spotlight. And as you can see, I got my notes on here that we're going to go through some uses, a little bit of history, what parts are used when the essential oil is made, and a few other things and a couple studies for you. So to start off with, ginger essential oil is going to have the scientific name, and I don't know how to completely pronounce this, so bear with me, but it's Cymbopogon, Nardus. So that is the name that you're going to find on the back of your bottle of essential oil. And like I always say in other videos, make sure that you have high quality, good, organic, wildcrafted or therapeutic essential oils, okay? So ginger has so many amazing uses. Typically it has like a warming, stimulating aroma, and then when you taste it or take it internally, it's gonna have kind of like a, not necessarily completely spicy, but if you've ever had ginger before, it can kind of get kind of hot, but it's also soothing at the same time. It's used in a lot of Asian dishes. If you've had any of like kind of Asian food, it's used a lot of times, whether it's chicken or fried rice or all sorts of other things. It's really great for digestion, and we'll go into the uses. But the parts used for the essential oil are typically the ginger roots. So it's steam distilled from the roots. And this is kind of interesting with the history part of it. But in the 14th century, ginger was actually considered really valuable in the way that it was just as valuable as like a sheep or other type of livestock. So it wasn't like a super cheap oil, but it was definitely valuable because it was used for a lot of different ailments in that time, and for all kinds of stuff today as well. So it's kind of interesting. So it is a valuable spice and essential oil. So a lot of times we don't really think about ginger or use it maybe as much, but this is a really, really great one, especially if you ever struggle with motion sickness or nausea, indigestion, anything like that. And then a safety note on ginger: if you do have sensitive skin and you're putting it, say like on your stomach or something, just make sure to dilute it with a carrier oil. If you don't really have sensitive skin, you can try it and you're probably going to be okay. But it's always good to try first if you do have sensitive skin. But we'll kind of jump into the uses, and then I have a couple studies I'm going to share with you guys. So number one use for ginger is for nausea and morning sickness. This is such a popular one. You're going to hear it a lot on websites, on blog posts, on videos. People maybe have told you, oh, ginger is super great for nausea, or morning sickness, whatever it is, motion sickness. And it really truly is. It's just going to help calm like the stomach and all kind of that acidity sometimes when you have that during pregnancy, but it's very effective for it in relieving that. And so what you can do a couple different things, or actually a few different things. You can diffuse it if you want. What I really like to do is, if you ever do feel nausea or motion sickness or whatever, you can take a few drops and just rub it directly on that area, on that stomach, and it helps kind of soothe and relieve that. And then if you want, again, if you have a safe essential oil for this, again, Young Living has oils called Vitality oils, and those are used for internal use. And you could use something like that to take internally and just take like a couple drops or something like that. So that's really helpful for nausea. It's also helpful going along with that for our digestion. It's one of the best natural remedies actually for colic, for indigestion, even diarrhea, things like stomach aches, or if someone gets like food poisoning or something like that. And same thing, you can rub it, the ginger essential oil, right on your stomach, on that area, on the intestinal area. And you can also inhale it, because when you're smelling the essential oils, that is stimulating different things in your brain as well, and can help because you have all the nerves too in your digestive system. So it's really helpful in that. And then you can also put a drop in your food if it kind of goes along with what you're eating or what you're drinking. So it could just be water, lemon water, really whatever. If it kind of goes with it, you can put a drop in there and drink that before you eat as well. And then it's also really great for fighting an infection. It's an antiseptic in nature, so it fights a broad range of different infections. It can help with intestinal infections, other bacterial infections, and also food poisoning, like I mentioned before. And really for that, for external use, again, you can put it on your stomach, on those areas. You can consume it, which this is really great to do if you are fighting some type of infection like that, is putting it in some nice warm tea that you can drink, and just put as much as you can tolerate in there and just kind of taste it in between. You can put it in some of the food that you're eating as well if you choose to. So it's going to help with infections, it's going to help with cold and sore throats as well. It's going to give some release there because, as we know, those are also infections. So it naturally helps relieve coughs. It also helps with asthma and bronchitis. So it can actually help with healthy breathing. You can rub it on your chest there if you want, if you're dealing with that. And again, you can take it internally with like maybe a cup of green tea or something like that a couple times a day, and that can also help for that. And a few other things that it helps with. It also helps with joint discomfort. So it actually has a component in the ginger essential oil. It's called zingabane, which this is responsible for the oil's inflammation fighting properties, its cooling properties, which is really cool. It provides pain relief for muscle aches, joint issues, headaches, and migraines. So ginger's a great one. It's really great if you diffuse it and kind of inhale it in, but you can also take it internally because it works really well that way. And then you can also just rub it on the joint or wherever that area is being affected. You can rub it right on there as well. And at the same time with ginger essential oil, it's also very calming. So it has some calming benefits. It can help relieve anxiety, depression, even exhaustion. If you're just like exhausted, it can help just calm you. And that because it's very warming, it can help with sleep and stimulate feelings of courage and calmness, which is really cool. And again, you can use that topically, or what I like to do, you can draw a warm bath, and you can use essential oils in there with some Epsom salt, and that works really great too. And then a couple other things that helps with sprains and strains, again, because it has those cooling, that inflammation fighting properties, so it's going to help with those. And again, you can help kind of release some of that discomfort by rubbing that area or drawing a warm bath again with that essential oil in there. So I think I've kind of went over everything that I have on my board. Just a couple of quick studies for you guys, some interesting things. In a 2013 study, so some of these are just a little bit older, but in a 2013 study, it concluded that ginger essential oil possesses an antioxidant activity as well as a significant anti-inflammatory and pain blocking properties, which is really cool, and that's why it's great for joint discomfort, sprains and strains, all that kind of thing, infections. But it also was studied, they took some patients like after surgery and had them inhale it, and they discovered that it was effective in reducing nausea and some pain after surgery. So that's actually pretty cool, something natural that you can use as a part of that if you ever have to undergo surgery of some kind. And then there's a bunch of different compounds, just like other essential oils in ginger essential oil. But one main one is called alpha-zingaberine, and this is a really predominant one that's found in ginger essential oil, and it accounts up to 30% of the essential oils found in ginger, and it gives it the really distinct gingery flavor, so that's what kind of gives it that flavor. But this has helped, that compound has been shown to display calming and anti-ulcer properties in some laboratory tests, and also has been recognized along with other constituents in the ginger as giving it a warming, immune boosting ability. So all around, ginger is a really great essential oil that you can use. Nowadays it's very available. It's actually fairly cheap. It's not a super expensive essential oil. It's a great one to have in your medicine cabinet if you or your kids or whoever ever has motion sickness or nausea or anything like that. It's a wonderful oil to have in hand. It's kind of a must-have for me to just have, just in case. So that's a great one. And I really hope that you learned something new about ginger essential oil, and maybe you'll go out and try it or even research a little more on your own. So thank you for joining me, and continue to stay tuned as each week we'll be putting out a different essential oil spotlight video. So thank you and have a great day.